All right, well, welcome. We'll try and get you all the time we can today. What I love is that it's this little bit smaller group today. So that means I can personalize it for you. So before we start, my name is Kathy Nelson. I'm with Aging and Adult Services. I've been there for about 16 years. And I, too, am a family caregiver. I have a father with Parkinson's and a mother with heart conditions and other issues that have developed through the COVID environment. And it's really great to be here with you and just be able to, talk and share anything that we have, okay? So what was your main reason for wanting to speak with someone from Aging and Adult Services today? Let's just start with that so I make sure I can tailor this to you. Yes?
Just for us, we're sisters, and
Okay.
our mom has she was just diagnosed like a month ago. So we're just kind of in that information gathering stage.
So if you couldn't hear that, they're in the information gathering stage, and they have new diagnoses that they're dealing with as sisters. And I love to hear it when people say, "This is me and my sister, my two brothers and I came today." I love to hear that because that means you've got someone to talk tough things out with. Okay, what else did you come for? Yeah.
So many things were closed during COVID. I want to know what's available now because when we were we've had it 5 years, but when we were really getting into it, there was nothing because of COVID that seemed to be happening virtual, but what's the law?
Right, okay. Understandable. Yes.
County, and now up in Davis County, and I found there's a great difference in availability of help or information.
Okay. So how many of you are in Salt Lake County proper? Some of you. How many of you are in Davis County? Okay. Anybody from Weber? Where are the rest of you if you're not Salt Lake County?
Utah County.
Utah County. Okay, so you're with the Mountain Land Association of Governments group. Great. So that's pretty normal for me when I'm speaking to a conference group that you're spread out over at least 3 counties. So we will find the websites for those in case you've never seen them, share those with you as well. I want to talk to you at first about the general stuff about caregiving and what is available, what we do at Aging versus such as people think that we are adult protective services, but we're not. People think that we run the housing lists, but we don't. So I'll be able to, tell you some of the complications that are still in play because of the pandemic and other issues. We have had some economic changes, haven't we, during the pandemic? Some people left their jobs to go do other things. Some people lost their jobs. Some people didn't come back into the job market. The cost of living, all of that has gone up. So all of this, believe it or not, has had a direct impact on what kind of services we're able to give and to how many. Because when you go to order homemaking from a group of individuals that you have contracted to provide it, what if before the pandemic they had 20 homemakers and after the pandemic they have 5? So that's what we're up against all across the state. So I don't want to be anything but truly honest with you today. We'll talk about where it is, the things that we're working with, but mainly I want to give you an idea of the types of things you can apply for, all of that. So I thought, why should I bring you a bunch of paperwork that we're all going to stare at? I have my booth in the back. You can pick up a 55 plus and the aging overview. The aging overview works for the full state because we all offer those types of services. We just implement them a little bit differently because some of us are rural. So maybe down in San Juan or one of the other counties, maybe they have to drive a lot further, 80 miles to go see a client. So they may take a food box in versus having Meals on Wheels delivered, other things like that. They may have to go help find firewood for people where we wouldn't have to do that in Salt Lake County. So there's a lot of complexity in the state of Utah. If you think about just what's available to go see in Utah, from the high north to the deep south, that also impacts the kind of aging care that we provide. Yes?
Do you have something down in Washington County?
Yes. That's called 5 County. So if you want to write down 5 County, and I will show you how to get to those. In fact, that's the first thing we'll do so that you don't have to worry about that throughout, that I might forget it. Before I start going through that, I want to show you this website. It's called eldercare.acl.gov. And this can be very valuable to you anywhere in the United States. So if you need to help care for someone, or if you're on the phone with that friend from high school and she says, man, my mom just got diagnosed with Alzheimer's, I don't even know where aging assistance is. You could go to this same website and she could put her zip code in just like you could put yours in, and it will tell you who in the United States has the responsibility for your area, for an area agency on aging, which is what we call our county groups, for aging and adult services across the nation. So it doesn't matter if you're helping that brother who's got the mother-in-law in Florida. You could look it up by zip code and he could call the place he needs to call. All right? So that's great. All right. So that will solve one thing. Let me just kind of bring that down so you can see it a little bit. So and there's this number at the top as well, if you want to write that down. If you don't like to get onto the internet and you don't like to have to do all that, you can actually call their 1-800 number that's up there in the right-hand corner. I know a lot of people still like to get out their flip phone and call a phone number and talk to a real human being, so we want to give you that option today too. All right. We know that we're in a transitory state when we come to serving our senior populations. Some are very technical. Their kids have already, especially during COVID, got them onto Zoom meetings and family parties on Zoom and all this stuff so they could stay in touch and see each other, etc. Other ones really refused, and they really do like their little flip phones and they don't want to be bothered with all of that. So, you have a wide variety of skills in your family and what you can offer. So we'll make sure you get both today. All right. So if I just show you this website really quick, literally it just says, do you have a question? You can click into facts and stuff down here for their stuff. But at the same time, you can actually just, who wants to give me a zip code of a cousin or something somewhere? Or maybe in another part of the state.
I was going to say 02138 was a zip I had in Massachusetts.
Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to search. Takes a little longer here in the conference room. But see, now that would start telling me who has the exact responsibility for that zip code in the United States. And it will give you 4 or 5 places that you can call. Okay? So that's what's going to happen when you put in your zip code for this particular group. All right? I just wanted to make sure you had that. So no matter what we talk about today, we talk about the types of things that aging organizations offer, at least you will know where to find the others. And every state, by the way, implements this differently. So what I'm about to share with you is the way that Utah implements things. So keep that in mind. Don't expect that to transfer across state lines. That's one caution I would give caregivers. They are implemented differently. And they are not all run by government organizations. Some of the groups are run by United Way and other things across the nation. So just find this local phone number, call them, and see what they offer for wherever you need to be. Okay? So I'd like to show you aging and adult services just as an overview really quick, and then we'll get down and dirty more into the caregiver stuff. Okay? So aging and adult services offers a wide variety of things, and if you go to our, and I'm going to talk about that scam in a minute too, because that's something that's normal to our lives. If you go down here to the main part of Aging and Adult Services webpage, you're going to find 6 main boxes, and that's because we run on 4 main units through Aging and Adult Services, and each of those section managers in Salt Lake County has a responsibility to a wide section of aging. So one is active aging. This consists of all of our community senior centers. So as you're thinking about, even for yourself, I want to age actively. I don't want to have to spend a lot of money on joining gyms, etc. But I want to age actively. Because what happens when you retire? You start living off of a what?
Fixed income.
A fixed income. I love that word, fixed income. So you have to go looking for really creative places to get the same things done, right? So your insurances will pay for some stuff, but one of the beauties of being in Salt Lake County and Utah and Davis, because you're spread out in this urban environment, is that you can access our senior centers. A lot of them have a workout section, some of them have pool tables. There are exercise classes from chair tai chi to any number of things. Pickleball is very popular. Just want you to know, I got addicted to pickleball by taking a group of caregivers on a tour of a senior center and having their person put us through an hour of pickleball. And now I'm addicted. and it happened at a senior center. So I just want you to know that. The senior centers are great. They are not what we call adult day services for someone who has Alzheimer's who can't be by themselves. This is for our active senior population because we have younger seniors and we have older seniors. And then we have older seniors or younger with chronic illness and conditions. But if you want to join, it's from 60 and older, or if your spouse turns 60 and you're still 59, you can still join together. But you can go work out. Some of them have grills. One of ours up in Mill Creek specifically has salmon once a week, and people get really excited. And sometimes they have to offer 2 or 3 lunches that day because so many people want to come into lunch. Yeah.
In Mill Creek, they cook it all fresh right there, so it's fabulous. Some
Yeah.
of the other ones have the meals too, but they're from somewhere else and shipped in.
Well, yeah.
The Mill Creek one is amazing. My father-in-law went there all through COVID. He'd pull into the parking lot, they'd bring his lunch out to his car, and he'd drive home and eat it.
Right. Yeah. Yep. We have a grill in some of ours. It's called the grill model, the cafe model, I should say. And so some of them have grills, but all of the main food for like the things that would go with that or the food that you're going to pick up comes from a very giant kitchen in the basement of 21st South and State Street, where it's cooked every day, packaged, and sent out fresh. Now, we had some trauma during COVID, and I love to tell some of these stories because we got with CR England and put a freezer truck in the parking lot and stored a whole lot of pre-cooked meals from our kitchen into that so that we had a whole semi full of frozen meals. Now, why would that be important during COVID? One, we have more people that need meals, right? And so sometimes we would have to deal with that increase in a very fast way. 2, what happens if your kitchen staff gets COVID? And the kitchen has to go down for 2 or 3 days, has to be sterilized, cleaned out before they can start cooking again. I really have to take my hat off to our management team during all of that. All of those dynamics were thought of. People weren't just told to go home and cook food. They knew that people were going to the senior centers to get their hot lunch because they couldn't cook it for themselves at home. So guess what? Then more meals were cooked to be in the center so that people could drive through and pick them up. So it's amazing to what an aging and adult services group can actually offer you. But the active aging is the really fun one because you can go over to the senior center. Some of them have walking tracks, some of them have choirs, some of them have pool sharks with pool cues with their own names on them. There's a lot of music groups that come in. They have usually a birthday cake day once a month to celebrate everybody's birthdays in the center that month. They have activities, all kinds of stuff going on. So painting clubs, some of them have ceramic capability to make ceramics. I mean, there's just a lot going on. So I would really encourage you to go out and look at that website when you get there. I'll show you what it looks like just to show you how big it is in Salt Lake County. The other counties have a few less senior centers, but we are really senior center rich in this county. Active aging, yes?
Sorry, just a quick question. All those things that you just mentioned, that's what takes place at these senior centers?
That's what takes place at the senior centers. They can get a meal there, they can go exercising, do all those things at those buildings. Okay. Now the lovely part is, once you sign up and get in the system with your little card, how many senior centers can you visit with one card?
All of them.
All of them. Okay, that's perfect. I just wanted you to know that. Okay.
Some of them have like art classes and they're amazing.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun. Yes?
So, just to make sure, because we're on the northern end of Utah County, it's okay to go to the Salt Lake County?
Oh yeah, if you're closer up here and want to come visit, they're not going to stop that. And then down in your county, there's 3 or 4, so you're going to want to sign up for those so you can get to those. Because what's really great about, and I'll show you this from the caregiver perspective, is if you work up here and need to attend some stuff up here, that's great. If you're going to apply for services and assistance, you have to do it in your home county. So we'll talk about those in just a second. So that way you can drive back and forth, because down in your county, if you want to attend their caregiver conference that they have over every November, which is fabulous, down in Utah County, you're going to want to go to your county for that one. Yeah.
So with these senior centers, are there fees associated, like a monthly but decreased fee
Okay.
due to the fixed income?
Okay, we got a really great question here. And that was, what's the cost to attend a senior center, and can you get a discounted rate? Okay, everybody, okay, her hand back here is going like this, 0. That's exactly right. It's a tax-based program. You just go, sign up, you have your card. The meals, they do have a requested donation. So you'll need to check with your senior center on that, but we don't check to see who pays it or who puts money in the box. It's an extension by you giving us the gift of a donation if you can. If you can't, we don't want anybody to go hungry. You still come in and get the meal. So that's how it works.
What is it you said is in November in Utah County?
Utah County has a caregiver conference in November. So when I get to the caregiver stuff, we'll go over that a little bit more too. But I just want you to know that the senior centers, if you go to this senior center page, look at all these beautiful senior centers and what they look like. I just want to entice you as younger seniors, because you really are. I mean, when I'm working in caregiver support with a 102-year-old that's caring for her 104-year-old husband, you're kindergartners. Yeah. Just want you to know. You know, you may feel old, but sorry, it doesn't work that way, okay? All right. So let me go back one to the aging page. All right. So there's that piece that I love to get people involved with, because you know what? Once you get involved with that stuff, then the group that's working at the senior center can tell you more about what you might need as you transition and you have more needs over time. So just being engaged in that whole process is really a good doorway to knowing how to age actively and get other assistance when it's time. Okay?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
What does it look like for people who have dementia? Like, do you kind of, I'm sure, I know it's really individual, but like, do people come with their caregiver? Do they, like, the early stages, do they kind of just get dropped off?
Yeah, you cannot come and drop your people off at the center if they have that diagnosis, because they're going to need extra care with going to the restroom, getting their meal, that kind of stuff. You have to have someone with them. Now, as the caregiver, does it have to be you? No. You could get another senior companion or have a neighbor who goes anyway that might be willing to take them with. Maybe his best buddy lives down the street and it's your dad, and he's willing to take him over twice a week to go to lunch with him and to, you know, do an activity together. So there's a lot of ways you could arrange that, but they would have to have someone with them. Because once you're unable cognitively and otherwise, especially physically, unable to eat or go to the bathroom without some kind of cueing or assistance, then that's when we start looking at things like day services in exchange for a senior center. Senior center is your social hub. Day services, let me keep you safe while we're doing social things. So, but you have the staff and the certification that's proper and needed for that in the adult day services versus the senior center. That's a really great question, and how those two are side by side. Okay, and I'll try and repeat the questions from now on. I apologize. Okay, all right. So another thing that we offer is caregiver support, where we're going to spend most of our time here just a minute. But we also have other home care programs that are a little bit more long term. Let's say a couple could live in their home quite a long time if they could just get a little bit of assistance with someone to help cook once in a while, or doing 2 showers a week, or someone that could come vacuum once a week or something, right? Or if they could get someone to help them buy the right kind of tools for the house, durable medical equipment. And maybe it's something that insurance doesn't pay for, but it might be able to be paid for in another program. Those are kind of details that you're going to find when you click on your home care button. And you're going to be able to call the main line, which is the same one for caregiver support, by the way. So we'll show you that here in a second. And then you'll be able to find all those other tools that you need. Meals on Wheels, those meals, when we say that they're actually going into the home, are for homebound. People who don't drive, can't get out of their home. Doesn't mean their kid doesn't come pick them up once in a while, like you go pick up Aunt Tilly, who's 90 and lives on her own. You take her out to lunch once in a while, stuff. That doesn't disqualify her. It's just that she can't normally, you know, get out of the home or drive or anything. We want to make sure she gets one hot meal a week or a day, whatever you set up. Some families are like, I work part-time. I can do lunches on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but I really need help with Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So that would be the Meals on Wheels schedule that would be set up, because somebody can actually take care of it on the other days. So you can do it like that. Other people who have no family, no assistance, and this is their only good meal a day, might also get a cold meal that they can heat up for Saturday. So just call and check on your county's local system and how it works. But this will lead you to things like that. Rides for Wellness, those are for medical appointments. We used to provide other rides in the past, and people have these lovely memories of being able to catch a van over to get groceries or whatever. We have so many seniors now who need rides to critical medical appointments that we have had to minimize our service to be just that. So just to let you know, that shift has kind of occurred over the last 3 or 4 years because we didn't want to have to turn down someone who needed a medical appointment because we'd already promised, you know, a ride to the pharmacy to someone else when they could have had it mailed to their home. So we had to go into services that people desperately needed to get to. Dialysis, you know, all of those kinds of things. So that's how we function there. I just want you to know this little bit about aging. They have a wonderful newsletter now that's called the Senior Scoop. And it's one newsletter for the whole aging arena for those that are aging and want to keep in touch with special things that are going on in senior centers, ads about other things going on across the aging world, things like that. That will be in that Senior Scoop on this website every month, okay? Also, if you walked into your local senior center, they have a stack of them sitting at the desk, okay? And then they would have the menu too for the month so that people would know, well, I only want to come to dinner 4 times this month, once a week. So I'm going to look at the food menu, right? Because I'm going to want to know when it's going to have a meal that I personally would want to eat, right? So that's how that functions. You can get that in the Senior Scoop and on the menu, okay? All right, so I don't want to spend too much more time there, but I wanted you to know what kinds of things are available in the aging realm that you might know of. Like you see our Meals on Wheels trucks go by in all 3 of your counties that you're talking about. You may drive by and see a sign for a senior center or whatever, but now you'll get a little bit more familiar with what they are on this website. So I want to go over to the caregiver support one, and you can either get there from here, this blue button in the center with everybody else's, or if you're just clicking in on your cell phone and these are right at the top, you can go right to caregiver support. Now before I move on today, I want you to see that we will put emergency scam issues on the top of our website now and then. We are a government agency. Guess who people like to use as a scam booster? Yeah. So right now we've had a new one that they've hijacked our main phone number for Salt Lake County, just to let you know. And so we want you to be able to watch for these scams now and then. If we call you and start asking you for personal information over the phone, it's not us. Hang up on the person and say, I'm sorry, there's no old people in this house. Whatever you want to say, okay? And then call us directly from the main phone number and say, I just got this call, was this you? And they will tell you no. But you can always double check. Don't trust our phone number, unfortunately, right now when it comes through. That's a sad thing. If you have a case manager or something with Salt Lake County, they will call through from their own phone number and you will know what it is. Then you will know it's the legitimate person that needs to talk to you about that. And you have already had an assessment with them, so you will know your case manager. And if she calls up and says, oh, Betty's sick today, so they've asked us in Florida to take over their calls, that's a scam, okay? Just want to throw that out there. All right. So I just want you to know that's there. And we will put those warnings out every now and then with things that are happening in the valley. There will also be notices across the top like the one I just closed out. I just want you to know those are really helpful. On all the websites, when you go to any aging and adult services, they kind of let you know if tax rebate season is on or something else, so you can kind of check into anything that the county might be doing. So let's go to the caregiver support page. Rid of that. Okay. The caregiver support page, there are 2 sides to our program that are really helpful, especially if you have, a lot of you are here today because of diagnoses of Alzheimer's and other chronic illness conditions that you're caring for, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay, lots of heads nodding. Okay. So I want to tell you the 2 parts that we help you support in and why that's so important. I'm just checking our time too. We have an in-home service portion that you can apply for. It's called Limited Respite Program. And so if you go to our website, and we've redesigned this so it would be much easier for you to use on your cell phones. We found that 60 to 70% of every caregiver we worked with is researching on their cell phones. So last week we rebuilt our website so that it would have these little boxes and pictures so you could find stuff super easy on a cell phone. So we've made that the primary target for you guys. So when you get into our website, you'll be looking at a number of things. And I'm just going to show you each one briefly today. Services and eligibility. We have a limited respite program where you can sign up. It goes for up to a year. We'll show you the eligibility here in a moment. And you would be assigned, if you qualify, I always have to throw that caveat out there. You would be assigned a case manager. They would look at your personal story, and you would be an active part with that case manager in determining how the small funds that they have available for you would get spent and what services you personally need in the home. As long as we have the right contracts, we can support what you need. Our contracts stay pretty stable throughout the year, but like we talked about in the beginning, we offer things like, you can see on the website, brief period of respite. It could be things like homemaking, home health aid, adult daycare services. Sometimes people call us and they say, we really just don't have the funds, and neither does mom in this new environment. Really what we want is just 1 day of daycare a week, so that we have 1 day off or 2 a week, so that we can rest and relax and make it through every given week, right? Sometimes you're just too tired when you get up to even do your laundry, right? Or answer the phone, or make those appointments, or whatever needs to be done. So some people call us and that's the only thing they want, and that's desperately what they need, is those 2 days off a week. So you would have your funds assigned to that, and then it would take you out as far as those could go, okay? We have other contracted services that they can let you know on a sheet when they meet with you what exactly services would be available. And then we have supplemental services. These are supplies and equipment such as briefs, transport chairs, and other things that you might need, grab bars for the bathroom, right outside their bedroom door, whatever. Maybe they're unstable when they turn corners, so maybe it would be a great thing to have one right by the door, whatever. So those are the kinds of things that your case manager would talk to you about and see what you needed. Okay? And then who's eligible? We have a wide variety of things that are eligible, and we won't spend a lot of time on this today, but I just want to briefly go over that, and then you can go back and look at these anytime you want. But we have, what we typically think of is the younger person caring for the older person, right? Anybody that's 18 or older that's caring for someone 60 or older that needs help with at least 2 activities of daily living. So if they need help, they can't shower and bathe on their own because they're a fall risk, and maybe they can't do something else. They can't push a vacuum and stuff anymore because of the fall risk and the condition they have. Or maybe with their early stage dementia, they don't know how to push buttons or help you out anymore. And you have the full bulk and responsibility of everything. You've moved your mom in with you. Maybe it's your spouse that's now diagnosed, whatever. So we try and alleviate that stress from you through this programming. So the second bullet is older relatives, not parents, mind you, on this given bullet point, age 55 and older who are providing care to children under the age of 18. Let's say you're your great Aunt Tilly and you're 70, or maybe you're only 56, and all of a sudden you inherit your niece's children because there's no one else to take them in and she just got killed in a car wreck. This is that kind of a clause because you have to care for those individuals. And then there might be older relatives, including parents, age 55 and older, providing care for adults 18 to 59 with disabilities. So maybe you have a son that you've been caring for all the way along, and maybe he got a TBI in an accident or whatever. He's not part of a disability system. There's nothing there yet. We can help provide a little bit of care while we work through things. Now, there was something up here that I did not look at, and that's the second bullet point, because that's really the most important for all of you. Adult family members or other informal caregivers, age 18 and older, providing care to individuals of any age with Alzheimer's disease or related disorders. This is a huge thing for Utah, and what's called the suicide belt area of here in the West also has a higher portion of Alzheimer's and other related dementias. So this is a really great clause that was just added not too long ago, and it's really great that we can serve that. We have early onsets. What if you are over 18, let's say you're 38, your husband's 42, he has early onset dementia and you're still trying to get kids through school. Are you going to need some help? Absolutely, yeah. So that's the kind of thing this clause was written for, those early onsets. All right, so I want you to be able to go out and look at that. If you want to write our phone number down, you're welcome to. If not, there's postcards on the back table where I have our booth back there. You can get the 55 Plus book, the Caregiver postcard, which is right in the center, and a little overview of aging and adult services right there. Okay? Yes?
When you call the phone number, does somebody answer, a real person?
Okay, our phone number is manned by a real person. Now, that doesn't mean they won't be on the phone with some other stressed out caregiver, because there's no financial qualifications for the caregiver program. There are for the others that are maybe Medicare, Medicaid paid. But when it comes to caregiver support, guess what we look at? Stress. We're dealing with people who are just too stressed to be able to make the kind of connections and find resources that they truly need. So yeah, if you call our phone number, the question was, does a real human being answer? Yes. Okay, yes.
We've already moved into an assisted living situation, but we're at the very minimal caregiving for that certain situation. Are these things still available to us, or did we bypass that by going into it?
Okay, we have a beautiful question here, and that was, if I am out of an independent living situation, I'm not in an apartment or my own, trailer at the trailer court or a home or whatever. If I've moved out of independence or senior living, a lot of 55 plus communities are just plain old independent apartments, right? If I have moved into assisted living or a nursing home, then the caregiver support program, this piece of it, the limited respite, is off the table. But the next piece about the other supports, which I'll go over here in just a second, will be available still to you because you're still a caregiver. Now, there is another program called Aging Waiver, if you are 65 or older, and some of the others on that home care button I want you to explore, because some of those in that other section will be available to you. They are more connected to, I'm in assisted living, but I could go back home if, or I'm in assisted living, but I can't pay for the support stuff. I could apply to maybe get a little bit of help with that, though it can't pay my rent. Okay, so it's the services piece. If you look at aging and adult services, one of the things you'll see is it literally is aging and adult services. In the state of Utah, we are a service-based program. Utah County, all the counties in Salt Lake, in the state of Utah, we only have one in Salt Lake County. Let me just clarify that. You can tell it's a Saturday morning, right? Okay. So just note that we're a service-based state, which means we assign out services and provide services, because we think that case management is just as important to you as the service. And because of the way we're structured, you have that extra set of brain cells assigned to you that knows the industry, that can then assist you with challenges and stuff as you're transitioning through all the pieces of aging. That's what's so important about the way that Utah offers its care. We don't send you a check for $250 a month and say, use it wisely. Because we know that one, you're too tired, and two, you may not know what wisely means, and three, you won't even know what all of the resources are that you could possibly assign that to. So we need to make sure that you get education with your respite. So that moves us to the second piece of aging and adult services. To caregiver support. So let me go back up there. Okay, so you'll see that there are 4 other boxes right here. Resources, I'll just show you that page really quick. This is our 24/7 section. If you need to go find something, this resource list gives you 2 sets of resources on here. One, the booklets like our 55 plus or Utah County, Davis County, they all have a little aging and adult services booklet or a link to resources on all their websites. And that happens throughout the full state of Utah. We have some pretty decent websites for all of our aging groups, which is really lovely. But you will be able to find all of these things, from crisis hotlines if you can't make it through in the middle of the night and really need to talk to somebody about behaviors that your person's going through, whatever. Those are 24/7 helps. Adult protective services, let's say you've got, maybe you're the second spouse and your spouse has dementia and he's got a daughter that comes in and exploits him all the time and you're not sure what to do about it. You could call Adult Protective Services and talk to them about exploitation and how do I handle this and what's, do I need to do something about this, etc. AARP, Caregiver Resources, they have a lot of really cool tools, so we link you over there because some of our partners, why should we recreate the wheel if somebody else always has some really great caregiver tools for you to use? We don't want to waste our time. We want to provide all the funds and services we have toward new and unique things for Utah, okay? We also have the Alzheimer's Caregiver Center, which is really important. Has anyone used their 1-800 number in the middle of the night when you just needed to talk to someone? If you haven't,
I've used it during the day.
you've used it during the day. It's a 24/7 hotline. I have one caregiver, she says, 2 to 3 in the morning when I can't sleep and he's just barely crashed because he's just wandered for the last 2 hours. I call up sometimes and just ask him a question because I need to detox before I go back to sleep. So that's available to you. Just keep that in mind. Then you have Grand Families Utah. You never know as an aging individual if you're going to become the primary caregiver for a grandchild. So if you run into that, we have a link to that here as well. Jewish Family Services has some really great activities when it comes to, they even have the Gleeful Choir and other things where you can work together with your caregiver care receiver at the same time, or a support group or an online activity. So that gives the caregiver a break while the care receiver's being entertained. So that's helpful. And then utah.gov has a whole raft of services for the state of Utah. They fall under the Health and Human Services. So you could go onto utah.gov at any time and find things that your family might need. Now, are caregivers only stressed out by diseases and in-home care? What else would a caregiver be stressed out about?
Lack of sleep.
Lack of sleep?
Finances.
Finances? Medication?
Other family members.
Other family members that are doing what?
Nothing.
Nothing? Maybe? Okay. No, don't kid, because that's a normal part of caregiving. You know, you always have these lovely families, and you have 1 or 2 that are nurturers and normal caregivers, and then you have that other brother, it's like, if you give me anything else besides lawn mowing, you will never see me again. And that's okay, because guess what? That brother's provided lawn mowing. Don't make him give what he can't. Farm this out if you have to. Tasks always come after family relationships. Keep your family relationships solid so they don't fall apart. If everybody can't split up the tasks that you need, that's when you reach out to groups like ours, other groups that can assist you with those tasks your family can't or won't do. Now, when I say won't, that's a real serious question too, because there are things you won't do or your parent won't let you do because you're the child. Fathers don't like usually, and I say usually, to have their daughters shower them, but they might let the son. Women tend to like their daughters showering them and helping them instead of their sons. So it doesn't always become gender related like that, but be aware that there will be things you won't be allowed to do and you'll need to reach out to someone else. But keep your family relationships and tasks separate. So you have family relationships that are most vital and most important. Stay in love with each other. Assign tasks another way. If you were one of those individuals where I am the only child, I am the only one that can do this, then call Aging and Adult Services, start that conversation and get your resources early, because we don't want to burn you out so bad that you can't provide care the way you'd always hoped and wanted to do. One lady said to me, please don't tell me I have to place my mom if I'm getting too tired. Just help me out so that I can keep caring for her, because I've really always had this dream of keeping her in my home until she passes. And we said, okay, then let's see what kind of services you'll need to make that dream come true. Okay? So it's your world, your dream. We're one of many support services that you can tap into to assist, but we are not the answer to everything. We just aren't. There are times we have to tell you no. Can't I get meals for Uncle Fred? I mean, he's 58 and a half. He's getting close and he's got Alzheimer's. I'm like, I'm sorry, the funding requires that we can't start until 60. But here's some other options for your family to look at. We're great at other options. We have had to deal with those concerns for a long, long time, okay? So then there's also, you'll see a relaxation. Oh, also there's specialized care, like Utah Pride Center has some really great things for families, so check into that. USA Aging, these are leaders in the Aging Well at Home, which is exactly what we do as well. So look onto their website, they've got some really great stuff. And then relaxation options. If you haven't seen these websites from Utah and you haven't found the free festivals and the cool hikes and all that don't cost your family money, or when is going to be free days on tracks and all that stuff, a lot of that is located right here on one of those websites about Utah. And we know that as caregivers, you desperately need time to relax. And sometimes you need to take your person with you. So let me show you a few things we did, because we just have a few minutes left. I'm going to let you kind of explore some of this on your own. I'll be around for about a half hour after the presentation, and I'll go back to my booth in the corner. So we left me a big space so you can crowd around and ask questions afterwards, whatever you want to do. But let me show you something else that we've done. Not only do we have education and support groups, which you can go explore and see what you would like to do. We offer classes, some are online, some are in person. One is a 9-part series. It's called Stress Busting for Family Caregivers. That's a beautiful course. It's evidence-based. It's lovely. You also get a full book and some materials so that you have everything you need in your home to do the activities we teach you as we go through the program. So that's there for you. And then we started a new support group because we knew, one, there's the breakfast bunch you can come to. You just kind of sit around with other caregivers, talk resources. I bring in specialty speakers, things like that. But there's this new one I want to point out. It's called the Joy Club. And every county tries to offer a variety of things that fit their county needs. So check onto your county websites as well for the other counties. But this Joy Club is really fun. It's the only one we've ever done, and we just started it 3 months ago. We already have 10 people coming. Where the caregiver and care receiver can come together. And the caregivers are shocked at how participatory their people with dementia and other chronic illnesses really are. There's this one gentleman who doesn't remember any of us from month to month, but when he comes with his spouse, he likes to chase the ball for us or pick up anything that gets dropped, and he's just super speedy. And everybody just loves this man because, and his wife is shocked that he is so active with all of us. And that the people with Alzheimer's actually participate in the activities. We have done painting together, and we have done so many things. So, yeah, and this is my name and number. You can call me directly off that flyer if you're interested in something like that. But I just want you to know we're trying to branch out and give you the assistance that you need. Yeah, the Sandy Senior Center is just up around the corner from here. It's at 1310, 13.
9310 South.
Thank you, that's the word I needed. Yes, 9310 South. So it's just up here at the top of the corner to your left. If you know where the amphitheater is, it's next door to the amphitheater. So even today, well, no, today they're closed at this hour. But if you go there anytime during the week, you can take a tour. They will, let you see what the food's like, everything. So you can go in at any time. And then this is what I want to show you because that in the calendar, you can go see any events we've got going on the calendar. But these publications are special. We have worked really hard to make sure that we have publications in Utah that assist you to manage things better at home. One, I put in your bags because the red caregiver bags that you picked up at the beginning of the conference. And that's your managing care guide. And those are all worksheets and stuff that we created for classes throughout the years. And we decided to make a book out of them. So if you couldn't come to a class, you could still benefit from all of those thoughts and different things that are in there for you, okay? There's a new one that we've just launched recently that you guys would love. I didn't have enough to bring you all a copy today, but it is on our website and you can print it off, and it's called the Creating Joy booklet. Those who attend the Creating Joy Club actually get a free booklet when they come. But it has over 70 activities in it that are minimized, simpler activities on 9 different subjects. Dreamers activities, cookers activities, technology lovers activities. And they are things that you could easily do with things that you find in the home and stuff so that you can do activities and add some joy back into what you do at home. And then what's really nice at the end of the book, and it was actually Utah County, I got this done just in time for Utah County's November conference last year. And so they launched it all on the Creating Joy theme. And I was really lucky to have them use these books to give out to all their caregivers. So if you went to their thing last year, you got this. But what's nice is when we were putting the book together and they got to put some input into it, we love to collaborate as counties. It's fun. Oh, you've got that. Could you add this to it? And then that'd be perfect for our people too. And so one thing they had to add, they asked me to add to the back, was a whole chapter on resources for less joyful moments. They said, yes, the book is creating joy, but what happens when a caregiver's having a really bad day and there are those less joyful moments? So it gives you the resources and where to outreach for all of that when you're really struggling. And it's actually right at the back of the PDF that's online. So, yes, Bonnie. The Creating Joy booklet. So we had Managing Care and Creating Joy. That's the 2 pieces of a caregiver's world, isn't it? Yeah.
Sorry, are those classes and things for the caregivers or for both?
The Joy Club is for both. They can come together as a caregiver, care receiver. You can't just drop your person off and go home, sorry. This is a collaborative activity. Yes?
If you have hired a caregiver, can they go to that?
Yes, if you have hired a caregiver and if they want to come and bring your person and just do something together, that's some way to fill up their day. This particular one is only once a month, but if we get more and more people, you know, excited about it, I may have to create one at a different senior center so I got more space. But so that's the only one where you can come together. Everything else that we offer for our caregivers is generally caregiver only. Why do you think we want to do that?
Respite.
Respite. Even though it's education, even though it's an activity, it's generally you by yourself. Now, some of the counties will allow you to come to a thank you event at the end of the year or something where you can bring your person if you want. Okay, but usually it's just you by yourself. And then there's one last thing I want to do before you walk out the door. One, do you all know about 211? 211utah.org. If you don't, please write that down, because 211utah.org is all social services in the state of Utah. You can look up things by county. You can look up other help aids you want. Maybe you've got a grandson that you just realized is suffering from addictions. Whatever, that's the place you're going to call. Homelessness, senior evictions, whatever. This kind of stuff is all on there for you, okay? Now, before we close out completely today, I have a little gift for each of you for coming into my area. There are so many things in the caregiver world that you can't solve, right? And a lot of times that becomes very frustrating, because no matter who you call, no matter what you ask, there are just no answers to certain things. So we like to make this a little humorous for you instead of really stressful. So I'm going to give you each a wand today. You can put these in a plant by your chair at home or whatever. And when your kids ask you for something, or when somebody in the community thinks you should do something you can't, and they complain about it or whatever, you can just get out your wand and go, all better. Because, you know what, as caregivers, there are just going to be some unanswerable days, honestly. So you can get you a fancy one if you want, like a Harry Potter wand or whatever. I have one at home, thank you very much. My brother was, in his school kids, did 3D printing for manufacturing engineering. And so my sister and I were going to Harry Potter World, so guess what his kids made and gave us? 3D printed wands to go on our trip. So there you go. I just want to hand these out. Well, I'll pass them along. You can take, there's some with stars, some with hearts. But just remember, add a little humor. Wave your wand, all better, you know. There's not a lot you can do. You can't answer people's questions. If your sister says, well, you should be doing that, ding, done. You know, I mean, that's really all you can give her, right? Because you just can't do it all. So I thank you for coming. I'll be at that back table for a while. This was just the tip of the iceberg, and it was a lot to soak in. Remember, you can call the number from your eldercare.acl.gov zip code for your local one if you're in 3 different counties here today, and just talk to the people and find out what they can do locally. But if you wanted to drive in and go to a class or get on an online class that's offered somewhere else in Utah, if you look at one of our other websites, we all specialize in different things. So if I'm offering a class on understanding behaviors and it's online, I don't care where in Utah you clicked in from or where. I mean, I have sisters from Hawaii that have joined the sister from California that found the class in Utah. They get online with us. It's great. So, you know, there are no walls to online learning. So join us if you want. But thank you for everything today. Enjoy your day, and I'll be back at the table for a while. Okay? Thank you.